Hey guys, what's up? Today I am so excited because we are making our first loaf of sourdough bread. Yay! I've been working on my starter for about 2 weeks now, and per the Kingdom of Sourdough regulations, she is ready to go. She is active, she is bubbly, she looks and smells exactly like she's supposed to. I'm following a recipe from Farmhouse on Boone, and I just want to make a disclaimer. I am not a professional baker. I've never done this before, but if you want to go on this journey with me to create my very first, or attempt to create my very first loaf of sourdough bread, let's get started.
So my first step was putting my starter in the bowl. Now I was pretty nervous about the measurements on this because I had never used a scale before, and luckily the recipe had both the measurements in cups and also grams. So what I did was I used the cups measurement, threw it in there, and then whenever I realized that they weren't exactly the same, I just went ahead and added a little bit more so that the grams added up. In baking, or especially sourdough, they always say that grams are best, so I just went with that. Next, I poured in the water, and as you can see, I am very concentrated because I was just so nervous about this scale situation. The recipe said to mix the two together before I put any of the other ingredients in, so I'm using my specialty bread whisk to mix both the starter and the water together. Now I'm adding my salt, and again, the two measurements that they gave did not equal out together. Same with the flour, so I just went with grams. My friend actually followed this exact same recipe and used the cups measurement, and hers turned out fine, but I don't know. Everybody says grams, so that's what I'm doing. Apparently, it's more accurate. Now I'm just mixing all of that together with my special whisk, and I'm definitely seeing how this works a lot better than like a spatula might, because the dough is able to sort of move through that whisk instead of it just being pushed around, if that makes sense.
I now have my shaggy consistency. Basically, it's not super round, it's not super soft, it's shaggy. That's exactly what it looks like. So I'm gonna set this for 30 minutes, cover it with some plastic wrap, and then I'll be back. All right, it's been 30 minutes since we left our dough, and it is now time to stretch and fold. This is something that you do 3 times, 30 minutes in between. So let me read the directions and get going on that.
So the stretch and folds were actually a lot less intimidating than I expected. Basically, I just pulled the dough up and out and folded it on top of itself. Turned the bowl about a quarter turn, pulled the dough up and out, folded it on top of itself. I had to do 3 full sets of this with 30 minutes in between each set. So I did 12 stretch and folds, 30-minute rest, 12 stretch and folds, 30-minute rest, 12 stretch and folds. So we're on our second set of stretch and folds, and I'm noticing that this is much easier to work with now. Like, it's stretching a lot more, and it's not breaking. Also, I was smart and put this mat underneath so that the bowl wasn't moving all over the place. Yeah, this dough feels a lot more structured now. All right, we're moving on to our third set of stretch and folds. Let's see if the dough feels any different. Oh yeah, this is feeling really awesome. Like, it feels like how dough's supposed to feel. It's also smelling really good. I just really hope that this smells like sourdough. Tastes like sourdough. I would be still really happy if it just tastes like regular bread, you know what I mean? But hopefully my starter is mature enough to really give it that sourdough taste. Now that I'm done with that last stretch and fold, I'm gonna recover this. Got a little loose, and it will sit for, it says 5 to 12 hours. I'm really hoping that it's more like 5 to 8, because with the timing, you know, if it takes like 12 hours from now, that's 1:30, then I still have some things to do, and then I have to sleep on it, you know what I'm saying? So let's hope that it's less time, not 12 hours. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a spoiler alert. This actually did not work for me. I totally bulk fermented this for way too long. What I should have done is stopped it here, added some flour to it, mixed it up, and then I feel like it could have produced some sort of bread. like not that bad, but it was sticky. So I was like, oh, it's not done yet. So I stuck it in the oven with the light on, and it only got worse. So here's me at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I set my alarm to wake up because I was like, oh, maybe by this time it'll be done. Well, it was so just, I mean, completely beyond dead, like not okay. So I poured it out and I was like, yeah, I'm going to try to shape this. And then it was just this soupy, nasty mess. There was no saving it at this point. I was so exhausted. And I feel like I probably could have made some focaccia with it, but then I just decided to throw it away. Like, look at this mess. It's so soupy and nasty and gross. And it was a sad moment for sure. But never fear, I tried it again, and this time was much better. This is the same exact point that I was at in the last video, but I did not over bulk ferment. So the dough was in a much better place. I still felt like it was a little sticky though, so I added some flour to it. So I mixed it all together, and that really helped me to form more of the proper ball shape that I was looking for. So now it came time for the second rise, and I took the dough and put it in my floured Banneton basket, and then I put it in the refrigerator. This was supposed to be for 12 to 15 hours. After the dough was proofed, I set my oven to 500 degrees and put my Dutch oven in there for about an hour. Now it was time to score the dough, and it did seem to be much easier since it was in the fridge, like it hardened it a little bit. And I did my one large score on one side, and then I did a cute little heart on the other side. Now it is time to bake. So I took my parchment paper and put my dough in the parchment paper, and then the parchment paper went into the preheated Dutch oven. It was very hot, so I had to be pretty careful with that. Then the most exciting part, it was time for the bread to go into the oven, and I was just hoping for the best at this point. After being in the oven with the top on, it was time to take it off and put it back in. When it came out, it was absolutely gorgeous. I do feel like it was much smaller than what I see in other pictures and videos, so that's a little concerning. It was also very hard, but you know what? I was excited that we had a turnout. When it came time to cut it, it was very difficult to cut. It was a little overdone, I think, and the inside was a little bit dense, but the taste was absolutely delicious. And you know what? This is a journey. I'm just proud of myself for producing a loaf of bread, okay? There will be more. I will be trying again, and you guys stay tuned for that.